What's good everybody, my name is Blago and in this video I want to show you how I'm selling $200 products easily on my Shopify dropshipping store. And if you don't know me already, I've made more than 7.5 million sales with one single dropshipping product. And this is part 2 of the high ticket dropshipping training. If you missed part 1 where we're going over the creatives, the copywriting and pretty much the front-end marketing side of things, make sure to check it out somewhere in the channel. In this one we're gonna cover backend to pretty much conversion rate, payment processor, customer support, and all that good stuff. So make sure you stick with the end. Depending on the level of skill, I have either good news or bad news for you when it comes to conversion rate. The truth is, you won't simply get away with a shitty looking store like you could with low ticket products, okay? Not only you gotta have good offer, not only you gotta have good copywriting and a clean looking store in general to convert your customer, now you have to also battle with a lot of friction that naturally comes with selling an expensive product and having a higher price. And I'm not saying that you cannot convert people in the first session. If you're very good at direct response marketing, you can definitely do that. But the percentage of high ticket purchases that are purely an instant buy is significantly lower. And I've actually done a survey and a lot of the people actually have to either consult with their wives or pretty much have a lot of things to consider first before spending 100, 200, 300 bucks plus on a product. So that's why you simply have to level up. You have to level up the copy that you have to level up the quality of your images, but most importantly, you can't just have basic social proof in your store. So forget about those one-line reviews that you copied from AliExpress or somewhere else. You need to have proper social proof in place that actually looks real. So that's why I have 3 concrete suggestions for you. First, you gotta include long-form testimonial videos on your product page. You can either put them in the first section of your description or at the very end of it. I've seen those 2 placements being the most common for the brands that I've served. I personally put it right after the buy buttons, so people can scroll a little bit to the bottom, they can look at the reviews that we got, get convinced why this product is actually worth it from real customers, and then directly purchase the product. The other alternatives that I personally have right now on my store is having a library of reels, and that can be pretty much influencers making reviews of the products, can be customers, and pretty much this is like a standalone sales channel on its own. Second thing is you have to include third-party social proof on your store. I already mentioned how to set up Trustpilot. I'll make a full separate video on that, but additionally you can get featured on related publishing websites. This is like the as seen on badge that you see on a lot of those brands, and I've used this service called brandpush.co. Of course you can be a little bit black hat and just copy the badge and put it on your store. Same applies for a Trustpilot badge. I honestly don't advise you to do that. I've never done it myself. I just bought it from BrandPush and I can legally use it on any page on my store. So you can pretty much put this somewhere on your home page as well as your product page, not above the fold. Like I wouldn't put this above the fold. Use it as like a break between your sections because it just introduces a lot of subconscious third-party social proof. And the third big thing is having chat support available on your store. I'll cover customer support in detail in a few minutes, but just from a zero perspective, I think it's more about a psychological aspect of having the chat function on the store, and it's not that much about the utility that you're giving to the customers. I've had my live chat option on the store since I opened the store, and still like 90% of the tickets are handled through email. So if you're afraid you're gonna have to deal with a lot of additional customer support tickets, it's not the case, and the same applies for having phone support available, for example, because you can just put your customer support's VA's phone number somewhere at the top, and like trust me, I've had this. Not a lot of people will actually call you, and the good thing is you can always redirect all of those channels that are like hard to manage and less convenient for your customer support team to one main channel. But the point here is, if you're selling high tickets, especially if it's like $1,000 plus, the customer should feel like they set the rules and they have a lot of options available. Even if some of the options are just redirect to one main channel for talking with them, which in our case is simply email. And one extra step that you can take if you're selling very premium stuff, I'm talking like 500,000 bucks plus, you can even offer a free consultation for every purchase. You can easily train your VA for that. But the goal here is to first personalize the whole shopping experience and really make customers feel special. And second, you can do upsells during this period and extend the lifetime value of those customers, because first, none of your competitors will do the extra mile, and second, your customers will absolutely appreciate this and will love you for life and will shop again and again and again. The customer lifetime value, of course, will get significantly higher if you actually do this properly. But again, if you're in the lower range, so around like 100 to 500 bucks, you don't need to do that because it's just a lot of operational complexity. But the point is to involve as much of a human aspect in your funnel as possible, without of course spending a shit ton of money and time and resources to do so. So the next super important thing is obviously payment processing, and I got some good news and some bad news for you, okay? The good news is in most cases high ticket converts well even without PayPal. And let me tell you a story. When I was first initially scaling up my store like crazy, I was doing like 10k days already. I had a huge PayPal ban, and back then 80% of the store orders were going through PayPal. So I was either gonna risk my momentum and I had to scale down significantly until I resolved this issue, or I could simply turn off PayPal and risk, spending a whole bunch of money on ads. The conversion rate could go down. But what ended up happening is I chose the second option. I removed PayPal from the store. And as I said, like 80% of the revenue was going through PayPal. And just in a couple of days, the store pretty much re-optimized, and we were back doing like the same numbers just through credit card, and we were even like scaling even harder. So it didn't hurt the overall like scalability of the product nor the conversion rate. Of course, that depends really on the niche. But as I said, in general, people who are purchasing like more expensive items are completely okay with purchasing through credit card. The bad news is, however, that one chargeback can fuck up your whole day's profit, especially if it's a big order. That's actually what happened to our first ever order. It was a chargeback, and we were very, very close to shutting the whole store together because it pretty much erased all of the profit that we did since the beginning of the store. And especially if it's like a high value order, like 1.5k, if you're still in the initial testing or initial scaling phase, like you can lose 1 week worth of profit just from one chargeback. But it's not the worst thing. Like the worst thing is actually that if you're still on a tight budget and you're still testing things out, this can easily put you almost out of business. And my suggestion for you is to spend the extra time and money to fulfill orders quickly. Even if you have a lower profit margins, you can use DHL or some other express option if it's available. But the point here is to give customers as good of an experience as possible, even from the get-go when you're starting the store, because a high ticket business is very shaky, at least on low scale. And also, if you have one chargeback on 10 orders, that's a 10% chargeback rate. And your payment processor might blow up for no valid reason from the beginning, and you can pretty much have all of your payment processing shut down. And one more thing that can be huge is having split payment options available in your store, such as Klarna Buy Now Pay Later or Afterpay. And there are some other options. Of course, it really depends on the region. But it's not only the fact that it's much more easily affordable for people to buy your stuff, and as I mentioned, you have a lot of conversion friction, so it helps reduce a little bit of that. You can also use it as a strong marketing point. You can mention it in your creatives. You can put like image ads saying that you're available with Klarna or Afterpay. And also you can pretty much differentiate from the competition, especially if none of your competitors are using split payment options, and overall makes your store look more serious and looks like as a legit brand in the eyes of your customer. But as I said, the main problem here is that getting even one chargeback can sometimes fuck up your whole payment processing, and you gotta mitigate this. So now let's move on to the next and last point for this video, which is pretty much customer support and sourcing products and all the backend operations. Again, here I got good news and bad news for you. Good news, you have to manage way less orders than you would have to do compared to low ticket stuff. So less orders means less operational complexity, less payment processing fees, and overall much more simple operations, because in order for me to hit a 10k day with like a $200 AOV products, I only need to make 50 orders, right? So the downside though is that the expectations of every customer are a lot higher, and if you plan on selling like $200, $500, $1,000 products, you need to deliver a first-class customer experience, period. And I know I repeated this probably 100 times already in this video, but it's very important to have pristine customer experience from the get-go, and especially in the initial testing or initial scaling phase, because you have pretty much no legit social proof and you have no credibility that you're a real brand, even if you're doing everything right. And I can't tell you how many times our brand was labeled as scam. And it's funny because in the niche we initially had very bad shipping times and very bad support. The niche is very small, so there's like forums and stuff. So it's funny because even after sourcing the product in the US and we had 3-day shipping times, people would still post shit about us in like different forums, different blog posts, even after sending them a refund or a replacement. So people are very sensitive at this price point. And obviously if you have good customer support in place, you can get away with like a 2-week shipping time, and I'm gonna get to that in a second. But pretty much the general statement that one bad review overrides 10 very good reviews is absolutely true, and the effect of a very bad review when it comes to high ticket is lasting significantly longer than mid and low ticket products, because I mean, for high ticket stuff, people actually care. So to prevent you from all the dumb shit that I personally did, I have some concrete suggestions for you. First of all, you need to hire more expensive customer support agents. You need to understand that quality is way more important than quantity here, and if your VAs are sending only automatic emails, your business will pretty much blow up. First, because customers expect a more personalized service at this price point, and second, because one chargeback, as I said, for a big value can wipe out all of your profit for the whole week. And I know most of you guys look at your agents and assess them based on how many tickets they answered and, ticket per hour and answers per hour, but that's not really the case with high ticket, because first, you don't get that many tickets, right? It's not that much about how many tickets are answered in an hourly basis if you have 10 support tickets in total for the day, okay? So my main point is that speed and quality of answers overrides just sheer quantity of email responses. And as I said, in the beginning you won't even have that many tickets, but once you scale up, your agents will probably get lazy with answers. So a crucial point comes where you should either hire another person to help out, or closely monitor whether the agents will keep up with the quality, because again, the quality, not the quantity, is what's important here. So when it comes to metrics for your support team, the second point I got is make sure to answer tickets as soon as possible, because as I mentioned already, in the beginning, customers will be thinking that you're a scam company until they get the product and are happy with it, period. So specifically in that period between the order and the delivery, you or your agent has to be very proactive with every single ticket to prevent the chargebacks. Because for example, if you get 1-2 chargebacks for the first 10-20 orders of your store, and as I said, this really happened to me, and you got 10% chargeback rate, you'll have the next 90 to 180 orders without a single chargeback to get back to healthy 1%, okay? And the third thing I want to mention is that you have to look at your support team not just as people who have to answer support tickets, but partially as salespeople as well, right? Even if you have a very good landing page addressing all the objections that customers might have before purchasing, in the live chat, the Facebook comments, and pretty much all the social media channels, you'll get tons of people asking minor details about the products, not because they can't find it on the product page, but because they're afraid to spend a whole bunch of money on your site. And I'm gonna tell you a funny story in a minute, but the first thing you absolutely do is make SOPs for your VAs to get first educated on all of the ins and outs of your product, because they need to be competent not only when answering emails but also on the social media channels. And the second thing is you need to incentivize them to close sales in the DMs for a commission. So a very easy way to do it is you can, for example, give them a 5% customer discount code. So whenever they're talking to a customer, they can incentivize the customer with 5% additional discount. And you can also give the VA a 5% commission. And that overall makes it very easy to track. Towards the end of the month, you can just check how many times a specific discount code has been used, and you can give your customer support VA a very good commission. And last but not least, you can set up a small call center-like process of calling customers who left the checkout and close them on the phone. So that way you can have them finish the order while they are on the phone and they have some external pressure. That's actually a test that we did with our customer support manager, and it was funny that 90% of the responses we got when we asked people what the reason for not purchasing our product was, that it was that their wife did not allow them to move on with the purchase. And to be completely transparent, my team was not good enough to persuade an angry wife to let their man purchase their dream product. So our product is like a fan community type of product that we're selling. So we kind of left the closing call strategy, but you know, I've spoken to people in my network and they said that actually for high ticket, if you set it up correctly and if you have a good closing rate, it can actually add up a huge, like a big chunk of additional revenue for your store. So as I said, I didn't have the best experience for it. I'm just giving it as a suggestion for you. Anyways, it was actually a great learning experience for us. So we gained a lot of useful insights, because actually, you know, the partner of the person that's purchasing is a huge objection. So we actually made a fun ad out of it. It got a ton of engagement, also a very good amount of conversions. But anyways, that's probably a topic for another video. But the point being is, you know, you can gain a lot of knowledge and insight about your customer and what additional objections they have. And it's something that, you know, people might not post publicly on social media, right? Like if they have a wife that is not letting them purchase the product that they want to get, they probably won't put it on Facebook where their wife can see it. But if you call them, you know, they'll be quite chill and they would give it as a reason. So to wrap it up, guys, selling high tickets, such as most things we're pursuing in life, is simple, but it's not easy. I'm not gonna lie, the initial testing of a high ticket store is very, very unpredictable. One day you might be on crazy ROAS, and then for the rest of the week you might have 0 purchases. But once you pass the initial stage, scaling feels like a breeze, okay? In my experience with a $220 AOV product, as I said, I only needed 50 purchases per day to hit 10K days. And in some of our best days, we hit like 30, 40, even 50K days. We weren't nowhere as overwhelmed with the fulfillment, because we pretty much had to handle like 200, 250 orders. But you know, imagine what it would have been if we had to do like 1K orders per day to keep the same level of scale, okay? Now, if you have a store already, and it's definitely much harder to transition to high ticket without starting from scratch with a completely new product. In this case, you need a high value offer, and that's something that I'm covering in my mentorship program, where we pretty much dissect your current funnel and we see where we can extract additional average order value. And in fact, one offer change completely transformed my business. It took my AOV from $170 to over $220, and also my conversion rate from I think 0.7 to like 1.2%, which pretty much doubled my business in less than 2 days. So that's what's possible with a high value offer. And if you have a store already that's doing at least 20K a month, I would love to work one-on-one with you to help you scale to the next level with a highly optimized offer and like a higher AOV. So it really doesn't matter if your store is high ticket or not. The principles pretty much stay the same. And if that sounds interesting to you, make sure to click on the link in the description of this video. But nevertheless, I hope you like this video. Make sure to check out the first part if you haven't done so. Comment, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And stay tuned for all the next videos that we're cooking. And I'll see you soon, guys. Bye.